Well, let's get more on this now with Abdullah Baabood, who's the chair of the State of Qatar's for Islamic Area Studies at Waseda University. He joins us now from Muscat in Oman. Really good to have you with us, Abdullah. Let's start with the various diplomatic pushes that are happening right now. We heard there that Antony Blinken is currently in Israel talking to the Israeli leadership. This after he revealed that the US has in fact submitted a draft resolution to the UN Security Council calling for an immediate ceasefire, which he says is linked to the release of Israeli hostages. What's your view on that particular push at the UN Security Council? Will it bear any fruit?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I think any ceasefire and saving human life is important. And it's imperative now, given the atrocities that have been committed against the Palestinians, and, over 30,000 people have been killed, over 70,000 people have been injured. Ceasefire means that we are saving lives, and that is important. I think the United States is now under a lot of pressure internationally and also domestically. And we've seen movement not just within the United States. We've seen also some of the European countries, including the EU, Foreign Ministry or Foreign Services, are calling for ceasefire. So I think this is a global call. I think people have had enough seeing dead bodies in Gaza, committed by the Israeli aggression. And I think now there is a need for a ceasefire. I believe the United States has obstructed in the past and vetoed a number of ceasefires, but I think now they have come to the realization that enough is enough. Many people, far too many people have been killed and injured. And if there is a continuation on going into Rafah, the atrocities and the numbers will be unimaginable. And I think the United States is now facing a problem trying to convince this right-wing Netanyahu's government to stop this through dialogue. They've tried that, and now they are calling through the United Security Council resolution to get some support for this. But we do hope that this is going to be accepted, and I believe the rest of the world is accepting this. It just needs the United States to push for it, and finally we see that there is some movement there because also of what has been mentioned in the past.
And what about the ongoing truce negotiations in Doha? We know that both Israel and Hamas have delegations there, but there doesn't seem to be any sign, any positive sign that it could lead to an agreement anytime soon. Do you think that will result in a truce at some point?
Well, I think once and again, it was demonstrated to all of us that the only possible way of releasing the Israeli hostages is through negotiations. And we've seen that when negotiations took place, there were release of hostages for a release of Palestinian prisoners. Israel does not actually understand and believe that it can only do this. It believes in one thing, it believes in its own power, and it believes on what it sees as Western and especially US support for its war crimes in Gaza. So it thinks that it can actually do that without having to submit to negotiations or to accept negotiations and to submit to Hamas demand. But they have failed. They have failed miserably in releasing any Israeli hostages. They have only managed to kill more people and more innocent people. And I think now there is, because of the international pressure, I think there is now a recognition that the only way that Israeli hostages can be released is through negotiations, through dialogue. And the negotiations via Qatar and other countries, Egypt in this case as well, has helped in the past to release that. And I think there is a hope that they will do so. Obviously, each side is upping its demands, is asking for more, and Israel thinks that the more they kill, the more atrocities they commit, the more Hamas will be weakened, and the more they will accept their demands. But Hamas's demands are straightforward. They want their hostages, their prisoners to be released for exchange of prisoners. They want the Israelis to stop the war. They want the Israelis to go back to the border. And they want to have their own independent state, which is an internationally accepted norm, an internationally accepted principle that there should be a two-state solution for the resolution of the conflict. Israel and Netanyahu's current right-wing government does not see that, does not believe in a two-state solution. It does not even believe in one-state solution. It sees that because of the support that it gets from the West, because of the power that it has attained in the region, it can dictate what it wants. But obviously, this is now proving to be wrong. Power is not always an answer to problems. We have to take into consideration there are other ways. And I think what's taking place in Doha now, in terms of the negotiation, could lead a long way, could be very helpful and lead to a ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire, and also the saving of lives of many people, but also the release of hostages and prisoners from both sides.
Okay, Abdullah Baabood, we will have to leave it there, but thank you so much as always for sharing your analysis with us.